So I'm a used car dealer, so I have the luxury of going to something like this as a used car dealer auction week after week and being able to see what prices do on the wholesale level. So I can basically see what the market's going to do before it actually does it. And because of the trends that we're seeing on the wholesale side, I know that dealers are having a tough time. So I'm even seeing this here at my used car dealership. When I talk to my sales manager about the customers that are coming in and trying to buy these cars, for the last few months, she's just been saying, you know what? It just seems like people don't have money. And you know what? It's not only small dealers like me that are actually having trouble in this market. It's these big new dealers too. See, no longer are we in a market where you have empty new car dealer lots. If you want a vehicle now, you can pretty much go out and find it somewhere. And it's even big companies like this too. This is CarMax, and they've stated in their recent quarters that they want to pull back on their buying because they know that the environment's getting worse. They know that people are actually going to be delinquent on their loans. They know that they're going to have to take in more repos. So CarMax is trying to scale down, trying not to buy as many cars, and they're still loading up. So now as the economy continues to slow down, interest rates continue to stay high, it becomes harder and harder for dealers to be able to move these vehicles. And the banks, they aren't going to loosen up anytime soon. They're going to stay tight, and you know what? They're probably going to get tighter as the economy gets worse, which is just absolutely crushing for car dealers because that's how they sell cars. They get people in auto loans. That's how people are able to afford these vehicles. And if they can't do that, then dealers are not going to be able to sell their inventory. And all my dealer buddies are telling me the exact same thing. Brandon, we're slow. People do not have money right now, and it's very hard to actually get people in loans to be able to purchase these vehicles. And because these dealers are having such a hard time, and because these consumers are having a hard time purchasing these vehicles, we're seeing that filter through on the wholesale side right now. Wholesale prices are absolutely getting destroyed. So one thing that I have seen at a lot of these auctions is that no sales are going through the roof. And what that means is a lot of these new car franchise dealers, they paid way too much for their trade-ins, and now they're sending them to auction and they can't sell them because the dealers at these auctions won't pay what these franchise dealers actually want to sell these trade-ins for. So what that means going forward is that these franchise dealers are going to know, hey, auction prices are going down, so they have to pay much less for trade-ins going forward. And the reason why that's happening is because dealers are being pulled out of the market. They've loaded up on inventory and now they cannot sell it. Now they cannot get these consumers into these vehicles. So running a small business in a market like this can be super stressful. And during stressful periods in the market like this, it really helps me out to just talk to somebody about it. And that's why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, BetterHelp. Regardless if you have a clinical mental health issue like depression or anxiety, or if you're just a human in this world that's going through a tough time, therapy can give you the tools to approach your life in a very different way. BetterHelp's mission is to make therapy more affordable and more accessible. And this is an important mission because finding a therapist can be hard, especially when you're limited to the options in your area. BetterHelp is a platform that makes finding a therapist easier because it's online, it's remote, and by filling out a few questions, BetterHelp can match you to a professional therapist in as little as just a few days. It's easy to get signed up and matched with a therapist. There's a link to BetterHelp down in my description below. Clicking that link helps this channel, but also gives you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. So if you are dealing with a very difficult situation in life, a very stressful situation in life, I really think a professional therapist can help. So if you're struggling, consider online therapy with BetterHelp. Click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com. So they've loaded up their lots and now they can't come to the auction and buy more inventory. Less bidders in the system means prices have to go down. And this is going to be a trend that continues throughout the rest of the year. So because this new vehicle shortage is not really a thing anymore, you don't have to go out and pay market adjustments. You don't have to go out and pay these crazy dealer add-ons. You can actually find a dealer that you can buy something for MSRP, or in some cases, you can find a dealer that's selling below MSRP. Yes, I've already seen them out there. You can find them. And because you're seeing these dealer lots start to load up again, the day supply of these vehicles is going up, And now these dealers have to actually be competitive with each other to try to get butts in seats. So what this will mean in the short term for a lot of these franchise dealers is that, you know what, they pay too much for their trade-ins, they can't sell them at auction for what they want, so they're going to actually have to cut them down at auction, and they're probably going to take some losses on some trade-ins that they just recently got in. And here in my car lot, you can see something like this. This is a $2,500 van that I am selling on my car lot. 6 months ago, I would say, you know what, even about 3 months ago, people would be knocking down our doors. There would be multiple customers come right after we posted this van to come buy it. And we're seeing less traffic. We're receiving fewer calls, even on something like that $2,500 van. And I think it's very telling about how the economy is right now, that people are having a harder time. And on the example of this $2,500 van, or this Escape right here is like 3,500 bucks. It's not that people are coming here and they're saying, oh, it's not a good car, and they're leaving. We're posting them online and we're still not getting the kind of volume, even inquiring about these vehicles. And 3 months ago, 6 months ago, we would get tons of calls and tons of messages on this kind of price range of vehicle every day. And the amount of people that are trying to ask about these cars to try to purchase these vehicles is going down and down and down. And I think it's very telling, because 6 months ago, 12 months ago, I would have loved to be able to have cars for $3,000, $4,000 sitting on our lot, but it was hard to do. And now we've got a lot full of them. And I'm very happy to be able to offer more affordable cars to our customers. That's a great thing for our business. But the reason why I think it's very telling for our economy is because these vehicles would not sit here. We would not be able to have them. But because now I'm able to go to the auction and the prices are down, so I can buy these to where I can actually sell them and make money, it's saying that dealers are not able to spend up the way they were, so I'm able to swoop in and get some of these deals and be able to sell them to my customers. And you know what? We have not even hit the hardest time of the year for car dealers yet. That comes towards the end of the year, around your holidays, around Thanksgiving, around Christmas, right at the new year. That is the toughest time to be a used car dealer, and they're having such a hard time right now. I can't even imagine how bad it's going to be in a few months when we hit that holiday season, when people who don't have money already to be able to purchase vehicles, now they have to go extend their credit, they have to spend their savings to go spend money on the holiday season, which we know that consumers are going to do. When they do that, they're not going to have any money left over for cars, and you know what? They're probably going to take on debt, more debt than they already have, to be able to finance these holiday spendings. So that's going to be even more money that's pulled out of the system. That's going to be people that even think they're poorer than they are right now, because you know what? They're going to be. So I feel like the sheer fact that I'm able to even go to auction, buy these things, and then price them this low and still make money is showing that a lot of these dealers are in a lot of trouble, because if they weren't, they would be buying all the stuff, which would be running up the price on it, meaning that I couldn't buy it to actually make money on it. So I think the market is turning. You're not seeing a lot on retail side unless you find a good dealer like me that's actually selling stuff for reasonable prices compared to what they buy it, but we are seeing on the wholesale side. So even with saying all that, I do believe still that if you are able to wait, then you're going to get a better deal later on than you are right now. I know that all of these cars that I've got behind me, probably in about 3 months from now, I'm going to be able to sell them for about $500 cheaper than what I'm selling this type of car for right now, because I believe 3 months from now, I'm going to be able to buy them for about that same rate less at the auctions than what I'm paying right now. We have even had cases recently where a customer would come in, get their information on one of these cars, take it to their bank, they got approved for the loan, but they could not get the car because the bank required that they would put $1,000 down. And this customer did not have $1,000 to put down on a vehicle. It's getting tougher and tougher for people to buy cars. They don't have money, banks are getting tighter, and the prices are still elevated. Prices will have to come down because people cannot buy cars. Even inquire less at auction. I think I used fewer, less. I never get it right. I think we're gonna have to go back and do that one to go over again. Fewer dollars, less money than they did beforehand. Let's not. won't pay the same amount that these going on. And no, we'll start over.